have completed one signing, the signing of left-back Alex Valle from Barcelona on loan for the rest of the campaign. I think Celtic are reportedly paying £1.3 million for the season, which will cover his wage. Do you think, Fraser, is this a new first-choice left-back to go on ahead of Greg Taylor? Do you think he'll just come in and start?
This is interesting, isn't it? But I think the whole Greg Taylor thing's really interesting. Greg Taylor, a left-back I rate so highly, and always have, ever since he was at Kilmarnock. Thought it was a great piece of business by Celtic. In terms of left-backs in the Scottish Premiership, hard pressed to find better. So really, really interested to see what happens here. Barcelona are going to send them over to Celtic Park, not to be getting regular game time. What was it? It was at Levante last season on loan, decent level, second tier of Spanish league, but he's never tasted European football, never mind Champions League football. So really interested to see what the dynamic is here and kind of who gets a nod for the bigger games. Taylor, I mean, I think Taylor's a solid left back both defensively and what he offers you going forward as you'll get in the Scottish Premiership. I've said that already. So whether Rodgers and wanting to take Celtic to that next level wants better in these positions, I don't know if that's why he's moved, but Alex Valle is untested, so I suppose the proof will be in the pudding, but don't know. I think it was in the Spanish under-19 team that won the Euro Championships last year, and I read that he was in the team of the tournament for that as well. So he's clearly got ability. Look, he's come out of the Barcelona academy. He's clearly got ability on the ball. It's just whether he can handle the demands of the Scottish League. But as I said, really interested in this. Greg Taylor, he's kind of one of that golden generation of left backs Scottish football's produced. And, you know, how many caps could they have if it wasn't for Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney? So, I'm really interested to see where this one goes, Daniel.
Aye, I do think as well, Scott, that it is interesting. We talked about in previous shows, Taylor's contract's up at the end of the season. There's no sign of it being renewed, which it does just seem peculiar. And just on what Fraser was saying there, Sean Allen has written in saying, this team would still win the league. I will wait till Friday to see what ambition the board has for Europe. If nothing there'll be a lot of unhappy fans. And I get there's a lot, you know, you could have a lot worse problems at Celtic, but that is the crux of the matter. It's all about how much ambition do you have?
I know. I do feel for Greg Taylor a wee bit because Fraser's right. He's been so steady for them, been a brilliant signing, but you just feel there's always been that caveat with supporters. They've always just said, is he good enough for Europe? No, is he kind of top level?
Just on that, Scott, Mark Montgomery's just written in saying Taylor gets found out consistently in Europe.
There you go. I mean, that's always seems to be the case, which is a bit harsh. I've seen them having good games in Europe, no Europa League and Champions League, but that has always been the question, and there's no doubt that Celtic and Brendan Rodgers did need competition for Greg Taylor. No, they've not quite had it the last couple of seasons with Bernabe, who came in, didn't set the head on fire and is now left again. So Taylor's been brilliant for them, but you're right. I mean, that's the other element is Taylor's contract situation. It remains to be seen. It has been very quiet, unusually quiet. I thought that would have been an easy extension for Celtic to do. I think Brendan Rodgers said towards the end of last season that he was very keen to get him tied up again, and in a similar way to Liam Scales, actually, where you thought it would just be a natural extension, but it's not happened yet. They need competition. This boy's come in, as Fraser says, with a decent pedigree, albeit he's very young. And again, you would think, Barcelona's going to want to get him games. They want to see him playing them. They don't want to see him sitting on the bench in the Scottish Premiership every week. So you do wonder if there's, is there an agreement for a certain amount of games? Is there any pressure on Celtic to play him? It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. I think probably the truth will be both of them will get decent game time. You think the amount of games Celtic are going to have? 8 Champions League games, the domestic cups, the league games. I think the truth probably is that both of them will get decent game time. I expect Taylor, he's in situ, he's got the jersey. Valle will take a bit of time coming in. He's settling into a new club, new country, etc. So I expect Taylor to be the left back certainly for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But eventually, there will be a wee bit of pressure, I think, on Brendan Rodgers to give this boy game time. And listen, it might be, I'm sure if you ask Greg Taylor, he would say he welcomes that kind of competition to keep him his toes, keep him improving. But as you say, the really interesting thing will be the contracts, the extension, when and if that will happen, because that's obviously going to have a big impact on things. Because if Greg Taylor's no staying at Celtic beyond this season, and I find that hard to believe, but if he's no, then he might find he plays less games, and the Spanish boy plays a bit more.
I should say that we've got plenty of comments coming in all the time, and thank you if you've sent them in. Martin McGarrigle's followed up Mark Montgomery and saying Celtic's Taylor doesn't have what it takes to bring Celtic to the next level in Europe. I think that's pretty harsh, but I guess time will tell.